To truly understand what a woman experiences in moments of deep desire, you have to step beyond surface-level thinking and connect with something more instinctive and human. At its core, this experience is not casual or light. It carries a weight that is deeply rooted in biology and emotion. Imagine the urgency of a newborn who is hungry. That feeling is not mild or negotiable. It is intense, consuming, and impossible to ignore. The entire body reacts to that need, and until it is satisfied, nothing else matters. The moment that need is met, everything shifts into calm, safety, and relief. In a similar way, a woman's anticipation of intimacy builds long before anything physical begins. It is not just about the act itself, but about a growing internal pull toward connection, closeness, and emotional grounding. Many men overlook this phase entirely, focusing only on what happens later. But the truth is that the most powerful part often happens before anything visible begins. Her body and mind are already engaged, already responding, already moving toward that moment. There is a quiet intensity in that anticipation, a kind of emotional and physical readiness that builds in layers. When it is ignored or rushed, the entire experience loses depth. But when it is understood, everything changes. The connection becomes more meaningful, more complete, and far more satisfying on every level. As that anticipation continues to build, it doesn't remain in the mind alone. It begins to settle into the body in a very real and noticeable way. There is a growing awareness, a kind of internal tension that gathers slowly, almost like pressure that needs a release. It's not chaotic, it's focused. It centers in the body and becomes impossible to ignore, creating a heightened sensitivity that makes every small moment feel amplified. At this stage, the experience is no longer just emotional, it becomes physical in a way that demands attention. There is a pull toward closeness, a desire for that final step that completes the connection. When a man approaches this moment without awareness, rushing or treating it casually, he completely misses the depth of what is actually happening. But when he slows down and becomes present, he starts to recognize that there is something much more powerful unfolding. This is where the connection begins to take shape before anything fully begins. The space between two people becomes charged, filled with expectation and readiness. It is a moment where everything is aligned, where the body and mind are both asking for the same thing. When that moment is respected, it transforms the entire experience into something far more meaningful and deeply felt. When that moment finally arrives and the connection begins, everything shifts in a way that is both physical and deeply internal. What was once anticipation turns into a powerful sense of presence, where the body becomes fully aware of what is happening. There is a transition from waiting to experiencing, and that shift carries a strong emotional weight. It is not just about movement or action, it is about a feeling of alignment where something that was building finally finds its place. This stage brings a sense of grounding, almost like a restless energy settling into something calm and steady. The tension that was once rising begins to dissolve, replaced by a feeling of completeness that is difficult to describe but easy to recognize. It is the difference between searching and arriving. The body responds by relaxing into the moment, allowing the experience to unfold naturally without resistance. What many fail to realize is that this is where the real connection begins to deepen. It is not about rushing forward or focusing on an end goal. It is about staying present in that transition, allowing both people to adjust and sync with each other. When handled with awareness, this moment becomes the foundation for everything that follows, turning a simple act into something that feels balanced, intentional, and deeply satisfying. As the experience continues to unfold, the body begins to move into a deeper state of awareness, where sensation becomes more layered and immersive. What started as anticipation and then shifted into connection now settles into a rhythm that feels natural and almost effortless. There is a growing warmth that spreads gradually, creating a sense of comfort that allows both people to relax into the moment without overthinking or forcing anything. This phase is where the emotional and physical elements begin to blend together more clearly. The mind becomes quieter, less distracted, and more focused on the present experience. Every movement, every subtle change in pace or pressure starts to feel more meaningful because the body is fully engaged. It is no longer about reaching a destination, but about staying within that shared space and allowing it to develop naturally. When a man understands this stage, he stops trying to control everything and instead becomes more responsive. He starts to notice small cues, shifts in breathing, changes in energy, and adjusts accordingly. That awareness creates a deeper connection, one that feels mutual rather than one-sided. It turns the experience into something cooperative, where both individuals are contributing to a shared rhythm that feels balanced and satisfying. As the rhythm deepens, communication begins to move beyond words and into subtle signals that can only be felt and interpreted in the moment. This is where awareness becomes the most valuable skill. It is no longer about what is being said, but about what is being expressed through breathing patterns, small movements, and natural reactions. A woman's body starts to communicate in waves, and each wave carries information about comfort, readiness, and emotional connection. At this point, sensitivity increases, and even the smallest change in pace or energy can shift the entire experience. When a man pays attention to these cues, he becomes more aligned with her state, adjusting naturally without needing to overthink. This creates a flow where both individuals are responding to each other rather than acting independently. The connection becomes more synchronized, almost like two systems working together seamlessly. Ignoring these signals, on the other hand, breaks that flow and creates a disconnect. But when they are recognized and followed, the experience becomes smoother, deeper, and far more engaging. It allows both people to feel understood without needing constant explanation. This level of awareness turns the moment into something intuitive, where everything feels guided rather than forced, and the connection continues to build in a natural and satisfying way. As the connection continues to develop, everything begins to settle into a more controlled and intentional pace. This is the stage where awareness of timing becomes critical. The way the moment is handled here can either deepen the experience or make it feel rushed and incomplete. It is no longer just about being present, but about understanding how to guide the flow in a way that keeps the connection strong and consistent. There is a noticeable difference between moving too quickly and allowing things to unfold with patience. When everything is rushed, the body doesn't have enough time to fully register and respond to each sensation. But when the pace is managed carefully, every small detail becomes more pronounced, and the overall experience feels richer and more satisfying. It creates a steady build rather than a sudden spike, allowing both people to stay connected for longer. This is where control and awareness work together. A man who understands this doesn't just react, he becomes deliberate with his actions. He learns to balance intensity with calmness, speed with stillness. That balance keeps the experience engaging without overwhelming it. When done right, it creates a smooth progression that maintains energy while allowing both individuals to remain fully connected and in sync. As everything builds further, the experience begins to reach a point where emotional connection becomes just as important as the physical rhythm. This is where presence matters more than performance. A woman is no longer just responding to movement, she is responding to how connected she feels in that exact moment. If she senses focus, care, and intention, her body relaxes deeper into the experience, allowing everything to flow more naturally. At this stage, subtle reassurance plays a powerful role. It can come through steady eye contact, gentle guidance, or simply maintaining a consistent and confident rhythm. These small actions communicate that you are fully engaged and aware of her, not distracted or disconnected. That sense of attention creates a feeling of security, which allows her to let go even more and stay present. When that level of connection is achieved, the experience becomes less about effort and more about flow. Both people begin to move in sync without needing to think about it. There is a natural harmony that develops, where each action feels like a response rather than a decision. This is the stage where everything feels aligned, calm yet intense, and deeply satisfying on both a physical and emotional level. As the experience continues to unfold, there comes a point where everything begins to feel more fluid and instinctive rather than structured or planned. This is where both individuals are no longer thinking about what to do next, but simply allowing the moment to guide them. The connection becomes more intuitive, almost like a silent understanding has taken over, where actions and reactions happen naturally without hesitation. At this stage, the body is fully engaged, and the mind is no longer distracted by outside thoughts. There is a strong sense of immersion, where each moment feels continuous and uninterrupted. This creates a deeper level of comfort, allowing both people to relax into the rhythm without trying to control it. The experience becomes more about feeling than thinking, which is where the most genuine connection happens. When a man reaches this level of awareness, he stops overanalyzing and begins to trust the flow of the moment. He responds naturally, adjusts without force, and maintains a steady presence that keeps everything grounded. This allows the connection to deepen even further, creating a shared experience that feels effortless yet powerful. It is in this space that the interaction transforms into something more meaningful, where both individuals feel fully present and completely in sync. As the experience reaches a more advanced stage, intensity and awareness begin to blend in a way that feels almost effortless. This is where consistency becomes the key factor. The connection has already been established, the rhythm has been found, and now it is about maintaining that balance without breaking the flow. Any sudden change that feels disconnected can disrupt the harmony that has been built, so steadiness becomes incredibly important. At this point, both individuals are highly responsive to each other. Small adjustments are noticed immediately, and even the slightest shift in energy can either elevate or reduce the overall experience. This is why staying present is essential.